Accidental Hustler. So this week, guys, I got to sit down with Shalonda Kizer Mitchell. Shalonda is a finance counselor and she owns her own financial counseling firm. So she gave some really great tips about how to get started, what your finances should look like. She also gave some information on gaining working capital so that you can run your business smoothly without having to worry about finances, as well as if and when you should quit your 9 to 5, and how you know you really made it in your business. So I hope that you guys really enjoyed this week's episode. So because I want all of the small business owners to have sound financial advice so they can know where to get started, what their finances should look like when it's time to open their business, and even talk about like when it's time to quit your 9 to 5. So let's dive into that. So the first thing we're going to cover is, let's see, what are some financial tips that you would give to small business owners who are looking to get started?
The number one tip that I see people struggle with is they treat their business like their personal bank.
Okay.
And I think that when you first come into business, a lot of times people come into business because they have a hobby or a skill and they see a need, right? So
Correct.
They're already doing, that business, just maybe as a hobby or just as a need. Like with me, I started with, fixing budgets, helping soldiers with their budgets.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw that why are just soldiers, getting the help with the budget? It's our Black communities that need to be educated, that need help with their budgets. It's a lot of business owners in the Black community. You have to think about it. You have, and I know this is going to sound really funny, but you have the store lady, the corner store lady that sells
right.
the Slurpees and the smoothies and the chips.
The thrill lady. That's her name.
The thrill lady.
Yep.
Yes. And you have, the mobile car wash guy.
Yep.
That's hustling, going, he has everybody in the communities.
You have the cake lady.
You have the cake lady. You also have the lawn landscapers.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started doing that. I started saying, hey, what if you could afford brand new lawn care items? Mm-hmm. What if I could help you fix your credit, get you on a spending plan to where you can go in here and get one of those big time contracts, right?
Good money.
And
yes.
really cut some lawn. Because right now you're cutting yards, but what if I could help you cut some lawns?
Right.
I saw a need, right? I took my hobby or what was my job or what is my job, and I found the need, and then I worked it in that aspect, right? Okay. But when you start to do that, you have to make sure that you're separating the money that's now from your business, because one of the steps are to get legit. You can't just go and cut a lawn and stick the money in the pocket and then go spend it at the gas station.
Right. That's absolutely right. But that happens often. We always, as small business owners, I call it confusing our finances. Money that I would make from baking a cake, I may not necessarily put back into buying more ingredients. I'm probably going to go buy the kids some shoes or something like that. But
and that's what I would help
finances and blow those lines.
See, and that's what I would help you with. I would show you that by putting that money into an account associated with your business, at the end of the year, you'll be able to write off those shoes.
Right. Absolutely. Right.
When you take your son or daughter on a trip with you to make a cake. Right. Or however legally, we work those out. But the whole gist of it is teaching people not to use their business finances and mixing them with their personal finances.
All right. So
not just the money that you're getting from your business, you know, but also the money that you're putting into your business.
So that's another thing. Where should they get working capital from? Because I know in my business, my working capital came from an insurance policy. When I opened my store, it was because, you know, I had gotten a car accident. It wasn't a big settlement, but I got a little bit of a settlement. And I was like, okay, I think I can do this. And honey, in 9 months, all my money was gone and the store was closing. Now, I still did business after that. However, I had to start from scratch all over again because I blurred the line of my personal finances and my business finances. So where would you advise people to go for working capital?
Well, I will actually send you a link so that when you post my bio information in there, because one of the services that I offer with my financial service firm is working capital.
Okay. Yeah. So we can call you.
Right. Through banks. Through banks is the answer. And the reason you go through reputable banks or banks that focus on small town business owners like us that one day want to be into big business.
Right.
One of the lenders that I work with will work with people that, as long as they've been in business for 3 months, as long as they make a certain amount of money each month, and as long as they have a 500 credit score. Sorry, what? Like
500?
500.
So do they factor any business credit into that? Like you don't have to have established.
Not yet.
It's your own personal credit.
You're still applying as an individual. And you know what? That's one of the largest misconceptions that people have is they feel like when I start a business, I automatically have business credit. No, you don't. You have to build business credit, right? So starting out, you are that business credit, which is why it's so important for me to work with people's personal credit to get their personal credit where it needs to be, you know. And then I didn't do myself much justice because then I told you that you only need 500 credit score.
Right. So everybody's like, oh, that's easy.
Either she's not very good or she only, no. We do work with you to get your personal credit where it needs to be because it's a total picture that you want, right?
Right, absolutely.
But they want to go to a bank. They don't necessarily have to come to me, of course, but you also don't want to necessarily dive into loans because you're not really sure how much money, you know, your business is going to be making. You can forecast, which you should forecast, how much money your business is going to be making. You know, like when you used to bake cakes, you would say, you know, hey, if I do, you know, 10 cakes.
6 cakes a weekend, 6 cakes a weekend.
Then you know how many you can have and you can put out for the month. And once you get great at it, you know, you can speculate how much money you're going to make. So,
but then you hit pandemic.
See? And no one can afford a cake.
Girl.
I know. But that's what you do. But you also want to tap into, and I was saying that to say, you don't always want to jump into loans, especially if you have a need for the community, then you can jump into grants. You know, you can get some grant funding. I always tell everyone, start with the SBA. Start with your small business association. Go to your local chamber of commerce and see if your city or if your county, wherever, your parish, wherever you're living, if they have any local grants. That's going to do a couple things for you, getting a local grant. It's going to be advertised to the entire community. So now it's free advertisement for you per se, right?
Right. Especially with the Chamber of Commerce. Yes. Yeah.
And you're getting money.
Yep. That's a win-win.
It was for me. So, yeah, and I think it's very important, especially if you're one of those people that, have a hobby and you can see how you can provide change. Grants go very far for people who can, provide change. So.
Right. I think that another thing with the loan, like if you're getting a loan, you have to start making those payments back fairly quickly. So you may not be making any money, when it's time for the loan to be paid back. So you do need to give yourself a grace period of more than 2 or 3 months for sure, to have to start paying this big loan payment back. Because what's going to happen is you're going to start using money from the loan to pay the loan back, and you're not going to have
absolutely
to run your business. So
absolutely, or you're not going to forecast correctly, because that first year, I don't care what type of business it is, that first year is really hard.